What's up, everybody? Quentin with Wet Dreams Outdoors. Thank you for tuning in. So today, I got my kayak here. This is, I want to say for skater, 10.5 sound. Had this kayak for over 12 years. It's the first kayak I ever bought. Absolutely love it. Nice thick hull, held up great for me. Other week, got a hole inside the rear, fixed it, didn't make a video of it. Used the kayak all weekend, no leaks, so decided I'm gonna intentionally put a hole in my kayak and show you guys how to repair it. So, first off, you're gonna go over the tools that you need. I am kind of cheating here, I got this already heating up. But, what I did, went out to Harbor Freight. It is a plastic weld kit, 80 watts. Basically, it's just a soldering iron with a flat tip on it. This kit comes with pretty much everything you need. Wire brush to clean it, solder obviously, and a stand for it. It does come with plastic sticks. I'm not a big fan of these. They're a softer plastic, does melt, works user friendly. Just personally, not a fan of it. Used it, it's a little soft like I said. You sit there, you brush it, you scrape it, and try to clean it up a little bit more. Just sands down too easy. I didn't see it holding up real good. It's quite as good as what the hull does. The hull's the number 2 recycled or plastic material. I think it's HDPE2 or something like that. And it comes with mesh. Basically, this is just window mesh, stainless steel. This is actually very crucial for my opinion for what I did. You're able to use this to reinforce your patch very well. Next, after that, obviously extension cord to get where you need to go. Pair of tin snips, use that to cut the mesh. Pair of pliers, I'll show you that in a second. I actually left the other piece of plastic over there. Heat gun. I like to use heat gun to heat up the entire surface of where I'm going to be working. You need the plastic to be hot in order for the plastic to stick to each other and to properly fuse and bond. Otherwise, it's going to fail. Wire brush, cleaning the surface. After I brush it down, I like to use rubbing alcohol, a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a rag. That's just to remove any grease, grime, anything that may be built up on it. My kayak is stored inside an equipment garage, so it is not unfeasible to say that it may get some grease on it. Obviously, you don't want grease on there. Grease for one of 2 reasons: bit of a fire hazard, and it's going to reduce the bond. So I want to get that off there if there is any, and remove any chance of there being any. So, and then additionally, you're going to want a piece of plastic. Like I said, I personally do not like these welding rods. I also actually purchased these plastic welding rods. These are from Harbor Freight as well. They're like $5, just little welding sticks. Use them, don't waste your money, they're junk. So, what I did, I live on a farm, so if you live on a farm too, you might recognize what the remnants of this are. This is a old feed bucket. It is the proper plastic. It is HDPE2. So, I took a chunk of this. It's a little bit more durable, it's a little harder. It is a little thicker, so it's a little harder to work with. Heat gun comes in handy for that. And it's very, very scratch resistant. It does get a little surface scratches, but with this material, I'd have pieces flaking off already. So, that's all the stuff we need. So, let's get started here. I already have one hole punched in it, but we're going to make a bigger hole. So, come on over, we're gonna check this out. So as I said, I'm gonna punch a hole in this. This hole, the original hole is right here. It actually spanned about this far. So, that's not gonna be hard to patch, and what good is that gonna be for me to show you that? This was a thinner section of the hull. You can feel it because when I pressed on it, it flexed. Up here, it's solid, it don't flex. Down here, it did. So, that's the reason why I picked this location. It's gonna ultimately be the next spot to fail. So, let's get a bigger hole here. So, and we'll get a little bit more. And maybe more. Okay, so, got ourselves a nice hole. It's roughly the size and location of the other one. We're gonna make a little worse. We're gonna really get that thing open. Okay. That's a little bit more dramatic than what I fixed over here. Reason being, the material from this side still kind of sitting under there. But obviously, you have a hole like that in your kayak, you're not going far. Okay, so first, we're gonna start off with cleaning the area. So, yeah, just using a little wire brush that came with it. I'm gonna scrape it all off. Down with that. Now, I actually already wiped this down, so just gonna get a rag and give it a quick wipe. So there's actually a little bit of dirt. So rub your alcohol a little bit. So I use rubbing alcohol for one of two reasons. One, removes any grease or anything like that, oils or anything, build up. Two, it is going to remove any dirt like water would, but alcohol evaporates, which means it dries very fast. So that's drying on and removes any moisture. Next, whoops, you're going to grab the heat gun. And actually, you know what? I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's do a little bit of preparation. Proper prep. Okay. Ouch. Okay, so now that we got that clean, let's get one, our plastic. And that's a little dirty, so we're going to have to clean this too. So, basically just want to eyeball a chunk that we think we're going to need. How big? If we need more later, we'll come back and get more. So, these buckets are thick, so they are a little tough. Get that cut. Okay. Now, what I did originally, use a big chunk. What I found, really hard to work with. So, what I like to do, I'm going to take this big chunk, I'm going to cut it into little strips. This allows us to work with it a little bit easier. You will keep one chunk, just kind of like to get a base going. Now we're going to use these little strips, do a little fine work. Cut it like this. Let's get a little tough. Oops. Probably actually should have cleaned this all off before I cut it down. So, as I said as well, this is HDPE 2. My bad. Again, rubbing alcohol, rag, break that back out. So, I'm gonna get this cleaned up. Little strip, lots of strip, little strip, big chunk. So, get our alcohol in here. Yeah, ouch, there's a cut in my finger. I found it. Give this a good wipe down. Get a big chunk real quick, wipe down. You see there's kind of a little bit of dirt on there. That's all right. I'm just gonna scrub that, get that off. Edges. That piece is clean. Oh, lost it. Ooh. See that catch? Skills. Yeah, clean this piece. And good. We're gonna let this sit there for a second so they cool off. Take your alcohol and rag away from any hot toys. Put that over here. All right. Now we're free of the fire hazards. Move that over here. We don't need it. Need that. Need this. We are gonna need that here in a second. So let's cut our little piece. So now we're working with a hole this size. What I want to do, I want to go bigger than this. I want to make sure I'm tied into all this stronger material. So I want to go probably about to here. So reach in, just cut. Now this cut's easy. Then I want to get our width. I want to go bridge to bridge. So this is going to be a little harder to eyeball because I guess I could tell you what, I'm just going to crimp it right like that. Oh, look at that. Thinking with our dipstick. Come on in. And we're going to cut it. Now we're going to test fit. Perfect. So, got that done. Now, heat gun. And we will actually bring this stuff closer. I'm going to work with it a little bit easier. I'm going to move the flammable object away. Move that closer as well. We will no longer need a screwdriver. We are going to need a pair of pliers. Okay, so now, heat gun. Let's just get this real hot. Nice and toasty. Now, if you look close, see how that's already folding up? See how that's melting down? This is why I don't feel like it's necessary to sand it. You're basically just going to create all these little bristles, and it's going to look kind of rough whenever you first start. The second you hit it with heat, you just undid all the work you did. So, I don't see any reason to. Just my 2 cents. Now we're just gonna heat, we're gonna heat the edges. Pretty much everywhere we're gonna be working. Edges, rear here. I wanna get this I wanna get a nice little head start. That way that little soldering iron tool doesn't have to quite work so hard. Now you do wanna watch, heat guns throw out a lot of heat in a wide area. So, if you get it too hot, see how this whole thing's starting to get a little malleable? I know that shows we're getting good. Now that's getting a little tacky. That's about perfect. That's where we want to be working in. But you don't want to use this too long. It'll heat up this whole thing. The heat will travel down through here. And next thing you know, this whole section is going to get very, very flimsy. So now we're good with that. We'll take this. Cross, I think it's 1500 watt. Toss it up. Kidding. Set it to the side. We're going to take our plug. We're going to plug in our little soldering iron. And we're going to move our move this on over. And I'm making a tacky short while doing this. Don't judge me. Gotta get y'all's attention somehow. Right now, it's gonna be watching me struggle with the soldering iron. Okay. Ouch! Oh, that's deep. Hope you guys can. I want the whole way over to there. That is going to hurt. Ow! That was right through the crease, and that little bugger went in there and was about to come through over there. Okay, back to the alcohol. Hopefully y'all enjoy my pain. Yep, that don't feel good. Okay. Whew, it's like a little freaking hypodermic needle. Okay, note to self, don't run your finger along that. Youch. Okay, well that's still hot, that's a plus. Okay, so, test fit it up. Make sure it's all good, looks all good. I'm gonna take this. Ideally, don't drop your piece of metal on the ground. No, it's kind of dirty. I'm not gonna clean it because I don't feel like stroking that thing off and potentially burning myself again. That sounds like a whole lot of nope. I honestly can't remember if I bent this thing, I heated it so much, or if it started off like that. I can't really remember. I feel like I kind of bent it that much. Ooh, I haven't plugged it for a while. Now it's cold. Oh, there we go. So when this starts to get hot, one, two things. Don't do like I just did. That's kind of stupid. Don't touch it. That hurts. Especially when it is actually toasty. So, you'll notice. You touch. It will, see if we can show you guys. You get a nice little glossiness, and you're going to see it smooth everything out. You kind of feel it kind of just dragging through. It's going to feel like you're cutting through butter almost. It's going to kind of, a little bit of resistance, not much. Try to hold that flat. Right now, all I'm doing is I'm just using this to kind of fine tune and heat those areas I'm going to be working with. A little bit of rubby dub dub there. As you can see, it is working. It is melting some of those different pigments that are in the plastic together. Come up the edges. Basically, we're just trying to build some heat back up in here. A little bit more controlled than we did with the heat gun. Heat gun got everything started. Now we're getting precise. Just gonna work around the area a little bit more. Now, I'm gonna use this. Now, make sure we get it back to the way we had it lined up. I'm basically just going to press and hold. What we're doing here is we're heating it up. We're melting it down into that plastic. Let's move that back out. Press that in. Use that little point if you have to. It gets very precise with it. Melt that down into the plastic. I like to melt it down in because this is already plastic that we know is secure. Dab it down, so now we're pretty good and locked. Now we want to work all these edges up in. So what I like to do is I try to heat it, and then I fold it down in. And I come back up, and I roll the plastic back up onto it. Press and hold, get it down in. Sometimes you do have to clean this off. Press and hold. Get that melted back down. I like to try to use the edges. It just seems like it transfers the heat a little bit faster than using the whole thing to hold it down. Although, I mean, sometimes it kind of proves me wrong, like right there. straighten that out. Basically, the more you kind of keep up with it, it's a little less cleanup work you gotta do later on. So try to keep that centered up. Melt that down in. Melt it down in. Back over on top of it. Melt that down in. We're just gonna keep working it like this. So I'm gonna get this finished up, and I will pick back up with you guys after I get this in there. You get the point. Okay, so as you can see here, we got it all nicely melted back in. Now sometimes you do gotta watch, you will have plastic kind of build up on here. I'll just grab another piece of plastic, wipe that off, tuck it back down, take this, and just give her a dab. There we go, good as new. So, all right, so we're gonna grab our little piece of plastic. This one's smaller. Actually, yeah, we're gonna go with this one first. We're gonna see, no, I don't think we are. We're going to start with the big one. The big one, oh boy. Make sure that does not touch your kayak anywhere, because it will melt it. Don't need that anymore, we're gonna check that. We are gonna need the pliers. So, keep hold of those. I'm gonna unplug this. Ouch, that's my knee. Joys of working on a dirt floor. Plug me in, plug me in. Okay, fire up your heat gun. Grab a big chunk of plastic. And we're just gonna heat this up. Might be a little overkill. Yeah, that's yours. We're gonna trim that down a bit. Oh, see? That is a sign it's too much. It decided to leave the chat. Okay, so once you get to this point, heat up your plastic. I try to keep that hot a little bit. Don't get too carried away, but again, it's already warm. It's not going to take much to start melting it, so you don't want to get too much heat down there right now. A little bit to kind of pick it back up. This piece here, obviously, it is completely cold. So I'm just going to try to heat that up. You kind of see it starting to gloss up a bit on the sides. See it starting to curve a little. It's getting a little bit of flex to it. Right there, it's glossing up. That means the exterior is melting. You should see this start to wilt a little from gravity. And it'll start turning into almost like a bubblegum texture right there. You can see it melt in the other direction now. The actual heat and air from the heat gun is causing this piece of plastic to move. And whenever you start getting about like this, that's when you know you're getting good. You start getting it like just flop around like that. Now you know you're getting it good and hot. Now, heat does travel up, so I'm gonna hold it upside down for a second, try to get more of that up here hot, and right there it's kind of getting gummy. So get the heat off it for a second. This part can be a little tricky. Probably better if I had both my hands free. All right, so got it laid on there. I'm gonna heat it up again. Heat up the area. Watch doing that. Plastic is hot enough. It will stick to you. You will scream like a little girl because it won't come off easy and it will hurt. Okay, now that's good. I don't want to get any hotter there because I am heating up the bottom of the kayak again. So I'll plug this back in. Hopefully she's still got some heat. Yep. She'll heat up here in a second. Could do if you really wanted to. You could use the heat gun to heat it back up. And that's again if you really wanted to. Now, right there, the bottom's actually, the bottom surface is a little cold. So we're gonna try to, I know it looks like a mess right now. Trust me, it's gonna look beautiful when we're done. So I'm gonna heat that up down there. This was a little bit more than I started with last time, but it's all right. We'll make it work. So I'll just kind of keep working it. This is still good and hot here. Work it up across. Move nice and slow here. This is getting hot. Let that transfer some of that heat into the plastic. This plastic is still holding a good bit of heat. So we're just gonna try to keep that nice and hot. Just work that around some edges until the keel's a little cold here. I'm just gonna keep working that across. Get some heat back in there. I do like this tool. It is, if you get used to it and you learn how to use it, it is very good at making a nice smooth finish. And we've got to get down some heat down in there. So whenever I am trying to heat something like this, honestly, I probably could have got away with just using a small piece. This was a little overkill. And I definitely should have heated up the bottom surface a little bit more than slapping that on there, but we will make it work. So we're gonna keep dragging that up across. And the reason I go up past, even though my metal ends right about here, I'm gonna go up past it. That way I can get some of this plastic melted in to the rest of the hull. And if you look right here, the hole is here, but I went the whole way up through here. It just gives a nice smooth taper. Makes it look nice. I'm all about finish. I like it to look good. I do got a little bit extra back here, so I'm just gonna try to work some of this stuff towards the front. Now this big chunk I put on here, this is just actually, this was originally it's meant to be the base. We honestly might be able to use this enough to actually do the whole project. I don't think we will. I think I'll probably end up using a small piece to make this look nice and pretty. Hope you guys know I am probably inhaling a ton of toxic carcinogens right now for you. Appreciate that. Hit that like and subscribe button. Show your appreciation by hitting the like and subscribe. No matter how much I smooth it, it's not really going to fix my problem. Not right now. So whenever you are trying to smooth it out, to round out your end, I just like to kind of tap it quick. Transfer a little bit of heat, smooth it. Don't let it get so hot you potentially drag some of the material you're trying to adhere to off. So we're gonna keep pushing it, we're gonna drag it. We're gonna try to give ourselves a nice quick taper. We got a hole here and a hole here. And a little bit of one here. Not too level. This is still hot, but it's not hot enough I can't touch it. So now what you do when you want to take basically like a little feeding rod, heat it up, press on it. Sometimes I do hold moderate pressure, but I'll use it and kind of feed it right over where I'm working. Just like you're kind of welding, I guess. I don't want to really call this welding. Just kind of melt that down. Come through, do your little cleanup here real quick. A couple little scrapes, get that build up off, and we are done. So now when you're done with this, take something, get that excess plastic off there. Not to get it perfect. Honestly, it'd probably be better if I use the wire brush, so I'm not just adding plastic to it. So just take that. It's easier to come off now than it is later. There we go. You can see the metal coming through. Just kind of get that clean. I'll stop it from burning up on you. And then put this somewhere safe. It's hot. It's gonna take a while to cool down. Put it somewhere safe. Probably not the safest place, but I don't got any better options at the moment. So we're just gonna let that sit there. Make sure your cord's up high enough it doesn't drag it down. We're gonna let that cool down. Here we go. So here, touch it. Not too melted, smooth, both sides. And Bob's your uncle. She is good to go. Look at that, pressing. No flexing at all there. Okay, so there you've seen it. That's how I fixed the original hole inside my kayak. That's how I just fixed the hole. We just fixed the hole together that I put in my kayak for all of you, for a little bit of education and show you how I did it. A little DIY. So thank you for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. Catch you next time. Remember, we don't do sweet dreams here. We like them wet. See you later.